kita.
When a work is being read as literature and circulating beyond its original linguistic and cultural context, it means that the text is recognized and appreciated as a meaningful literary work, not just a local story or document. And also, it reaches and influences readers from different countries, languages, and cultures, making it part of a broader global conversation in literature. Now we move to the basic principles of world literature. There are several basic principles of world literature that we have to understand, such as beyond national boundaries, circulation and reception, going beyond the canon, translation's role, globalization's influence, and digitalization's influence. The first is beyond national boundaries. One thing that we have to understand is world literature transcends the limitations of national literary traditions. It concerns the circulation and reception of literary work across linguistics and cultural borders. A work originating in one country can become part of world literature when it is read, translated, and appreciated in other parts of the world. This principle suggests that literature is not confined to the country or culture where it was originally written. Instead, great literary works can cross national, cultural, and linguistics borders, gaining relevance and appreciation in many parts of the world. A text written in one country, for example, Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe from Nigeria, can be read, studied, and valued in schools and universities all over the world, not just in Nigeria. Many literary works explore themes like love, loss, identity, injustice, freedom, or hope. These also are universal themes that resonate with people regardless of their nationality. That allows the literature to travel beyond its original context. When literature moves beyond its national boundaries, it joins a global conversation about ideas, values, and human experiences. Readers from different cultures may interpret the same work in different ways, enriching its meaning. The idea challenges the old belief that literature should be studied only within national contexts. For example, American literature or Indonesian literature. World literature encourages us to read across borders and appreciate the interconnectedness of cultures. The next is circulation and reception. Another principle that we have to understand as a crucial element is the movement of literary works. How a book travels, how it is translated, and how it is received in different cultures are all vital factors. It is not simply about the existence of great work, but about its active engagement with a global readership. This principle emphasizes that for a literary work to be considered part of literature, world literature, it must circulate beyond its place of origin and be received, read, interpreted, and valued by audiences in other cultures and languages. In this case, circulation refers to how a literary work moves from one place to another, both physically, through publishing and translation, for example, and culturally, through education, media, and academic discourse. while reception refers to how different readers and cultures interpret and respond to the work once it has circulated. The more a work circulates, the more diverse its reception becomes. And each act of reception adds new meaning to the work, making it a part of a global literary conversation. A work is no longer just a product of its nation. It becomes world literature through its ongoing circulation and reinterpretation across the globe. Another thing is going beyond the canon. Historically, world literature often focused on European classics. But today, there is a strong push to broaden the canon, including works from diverse cultures and languages. This involves recognizing the richness of literary traditions from Africa, Asia, Latin America, and other regions. In the context of world literature, going beyond the canon means expanding our reading list and literary studies beyond the traditional, established works, especially those from dominant cultures such as European or American classics, to include voices, stories, and traditions from marginalized, underrepresented, or non-Western cultures. In this case, going beyond the canon is essential in world literature because, number one, it reflects the true diversity of global human experience. Number two, it allows literature to circulate more equally, giving space to works that were overlooked due to geography, politics, race, gender, or even class. It fosters critical thinking about who decides what literature is worthy and why. Many canons have been shaped by colonial power structures, which promoted European literature as the standard. World literature helps decolonize reading practices by highlighting how colonialism affected literary production, valuing local languages and perspective, and encouraging cross-cultural understanding. For example, studying Indonesian literature in translation, like Pramudia Nantatur, alongside Western authors provides a broader view of history and culture. The next is translation's role. Translation is fundamental to world literature. It allows works to cross linguistic barriers and reach wider audiences. However, translation is not a neutral process. It involves interpretation and can shape how a work is understood in a new cultural context. In world literature, translation plays a crucial role in allowing literary works to move across linguistic boundaries. It enables texts written in one language to be read, studied, and appreciated by people in other parts of the world. Without translation, the ideas of world literature would be limited only to multilingual readers, and texts written in dominant global languages like English or French. In this case, translation democratizes access, allowing everyone to participate in the global literary dialogue. Accordingly, translation helps works circulate globally. Once a book is translated, it can be taught in foreign classrooms. It can influence writers in other languages, and it can be adapted into films, plays, or other media. For instance, Gabriel Garcia Marquez's 100 Years of Solitude became a global classic after being translated from Spanish into dozens of languages. The next is globalization's influence. In the context of world literature, globalization refers to the increasing interconnectedness of countries, cultures, economies, and communication. It deeply influences how literary texts are created, distributed, and interpreted across the world. So far, globalization has significantly impacted world literature, facilitating the exchange of literary works and ideas. It has also increased connectivity and access to information, have contributed to a more interconnected literary landscape. Therefore, globalization allows literature to travel faster and further. But it also raises questions about power, identity, and cultural balance. Last is digitalization influence. The digital age has greatly impacted world literature. The internet and digital publishing have allowed for much faster and wider spread of literary works. This has allowed for a much greater diversity of works to be considered world literature. In the context of world literature, digitalization refers to how digital technologies such as the internet, ebooks, social media, online publishing, and digital libraries transform the productions, distribution, and receptions of literary works globally. In this case, digitalization does not just make literature faster. It makes it more interconnected, more democratic, and more complex. In the context of world literature, it empowers both global storytelling and global readership, while challenging us to rethink how we read, write, and value literature today. To sum up, world literature is not only a fixed list of famous books. It is a dynamic process that is valuable to be studied further. It is about movement, connection, translation, and understanding. By learning and studying world literature, we discover not just other cultures, but new ways of seeing world literature. I think this is the end of our learning session. Thank you for watching. I am Muhammad Yuseano Kardiansyah. See you in the next learning video.